Odo does Cardassian neck tricks, Chisaro dies in a pond, and Rom is a hero? Hello, and welcome to The Seventh Rule with Cirroc, Lofton.
All right. That was a good one.
Thank you. My name is Ryan T. Husk, and today we are reviewing Season 2, Episode 8 of Deep Space Nine, called Necessary Evil, directed by James L. Conway. Do you remember James?
No, I don't remember. Yeah, actually I do. He was a slim guy. Yes, I kind of do remember him. Not like we made a really close personal connection, but I can say that I did like his directing style in this particular episode.
I noticed that too, yeah.
And I actually wrote that down in my notes because, Aaron used to like to point out
Yes, he did.
the shots and the frames and the different directing styles. So I thought that this particular episode stood out to me as far as the directing was concerned, especially the way they did the seams between the past and the present.
Sure. Oh yeah, for sure. Hey, before we talk about that, you mentioned there are a few things we want to say. Number one is we want to say a special thanks to our associate producers, Imo Radka, Rex Wood, Dennis Koch, and Homer Frizzell, Commander Homer. Also, you just mentioned your notes, Cirroc, and people have been commenting about your notes and about your doodles, your Ferengi doodles. And just now off the air, Cirroc was saying basically that the more boring an episode is, the more doodles you'll see. So if his notes has a lot of drawings on it, it was a boring episode. And you said that this one had very few doodles. So that's
very few doodles. I don't have many doodles. I've got the DS9 doodle up there somewhere, I think. You can see it. And then I drew her earrings because I kind of like the earrings that she was wearing in the opening scene.
Awesome.
They were really cool, like looped earrings with these spheres at different points on them.
Mm-hmm. Also, by the way, we got a good close up of those. Those look really cool. The little hoop, kind of the little line earrings.
Yeah, so that's about it for this one.
Also, everybody, Cirroc was just telling me, he was educating me about another piece of advice that Avery gave him, which is Cirroc is braving a powerful cold right now for us, but he's got a product that has about 40 letters in it. What's it called?
Well, I'll show it to you. This is what it is. It comes in these little tubes, these little vials, and these are
oscillococcinumony or something like that.
Yeah, oscillococcinum, which is that's as close as I could get with it. It's made in France. It's made by this company Boiron, Boiron, and they make a lot of
Boiron. Boiron.
Yeah.
Boiron.
Okay, well, there he is. That's what it is. And I say Boiron, so that's how far apart we are on that.
Boy, Ron, you better quiet down.
Boy, Ron, you better heal me from this flu-like symptom. So, yeah, I used to see Avery take these back in the day, and I adopted the same kind of technique for fighting cold and flu-like symptoms. It's a natural homeopathic way, and these little tiny miniature balls kind of dissolve underneath your tongue, and I guess you get your immunity boosted. So that's one of the tools that I use to fight my cold.
I don't know why, but you know, I'm always thinking about like what Aaron would say if he were here. And when you said tiny miniature balls, I felt like I just heard Aaron whisper a joke.
I could hear it. I could hear it as I was saying it, and I was hoping you wouldn't comment on it.
Or at least
you wouldn't highlight it, but
or at least that we would look at each other. Yeah, he would give us a look.
Aaron would definitely say, "So, how are those miniature balls in your mouth? Do they? how well do they work?" You know, he would definitely highlight something like that.
Or else he would just give us a look, and we would be like, "What? I didn't say anything.
I didn't mean it like that." But yeah, so but that's what it is. That's what I'm using to get myself back into health. I've been out of commission the last few days.
And thanks for braving it for us. I know it sucks.
Yeah, I can't get you sick over the internet, so I figured I could participate, even though my voice would be different. Yeah.
Also, lastly,
So,
before we get into the director talk, Cirroc is wearing a really cool shirt, and I want to talk about it for a second. Can you show us the
okay.
shirt, Cirroc?
Yeah, I have. This is one of the shirts that my sister designed,
Hmm.
and there's a good look at it. It's kind of the Africa
Hmm.
Wakanda Star Trek version, right?
Yeah, for those of you that are just listening and can't see it, it's kind of like the outline of a Star Trek insignia, but with like a yellow and black African design and a little bit of like a salmon color below that. It's really cool. And your sister designs these things, and she's also designing something else, these really artistic crosses, right?
Yeah. So she just got back from Ethiopia, and she's a graphic artist. Has been designing websites for people and things of that nature. But now she's working on this project to develop crosses, Ethiopian crosses that have been, in our tradition culturally for thousands of years. And we've had these various elaborate, ornate crosses that are, part of our tradition. So she's trying to bring that into the clothing and also bring some African elements into other things as well. So this insignia was one of the things that I asked her to do, and she's working on a few other cool little projects like this. In the meantime, so we'll be looking forward to a whole bunch of cool designs from her.
Hmm. So everybody, please, we'll put the link down below to the GoFundMe she has for these really cool crosses. We also posted up on social media. There's like, she's got an example of like a dozen different designs. It's really cool. Especially if you're kind of like a history and culture buff like myself and like Cirroc, you'll really appreciate seeing kind of like the rich history of, different cultures within the designs. Which is always cool, whether you're seeing Mayan designs or Ethiopian designs or,
Yeah,
you know, Mongolian designs or just something with rich history is always really cool. So check that out. We'll put the link down below.
absolutely.
What's her
Thank
name
you.
again?
My sister's name is Meron. It's Merone,
Hmm.
and it's named. She's actually named after a mountain in Israel.
Wow.
Yeah, you know.
So much history. I love it. So much good stuff. Every answer from Cirroc always comes from something about like history and culture and more interesting things than the dumb stuff I bring up, I think.
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think so at
Thanks.
all. You actually have a tremendous wealth of knowledge in things that I don't know about. So that's where we meet our minds and
Mhm.
have good conversations. So
Well, thank
I'm
you. Let's
glad.
have some of these good conversations then. So tell us about the director things that you noticed. I noticed some really cool
Yeah.
shots, and I thought of you and I thought of Aaron when I saw there was a shot when who was it? Someone walked out. I don't remember if it was the lady whose name escapes me or if it was Odo. But there was a shot kind of behind a fern for a second, and it looked really
Hmm.
cool. Kind of looked up. But what did you notice?
The kind of few things that I noticed. Number one, I noticed that they played with the lighting from DS9's lighting to the flashback scenes with the Gul Dukat run station, right?
That's right. I noticed that too. I got that in my notes. Not just the lighting, but just more vibrant colors too. Like it was just
Right.
dark and gray and colorless to brighter and more colorful, even, not as bright as most Star Trek, but brighter, than obviously.
Which is funny because they called our show a dark show, and yet
That's right.
you could see that there's a few levels of darkness below our show when they do this episode. They actually show us what a real dark show would look like. And to me, actually, I felt like a Blade Runner type of feel with the neon lights kind of running through with the fence that was separating people. There's like checkpoint.
I
Uh,
I noticed the exact same thing. Absolutely. It was like what they would add things to let us know, hey, this is not the Deep Space Nine that you know and love. Back then it was, attention Bajoran workers, it was like slave work and it was all downtrodden. And yeah, you're right, there's that neon thing over the chain link fence or whatever.
yeah, so those were the kind of things that really stuck out to me that I'm pretty sure the director had a huge hand in. But the transition shots. One of them was when Odo was in Quark's bar, and he was investigating this, attempted murder on Quark. And as he enters into the area where they had this Bajoran list of names hidden, he types in the passcode. And as they cut from him typing in the passcode to being on the other side of the door now, back in time, right, where Odo is now meeting Gul Dukat for the first time and being asked to investigate a murder. Yeah. So I thought that was really a clever segue. It was a small cut from one side of the door to the other, but it was a good thing because you catch yourself saying, "Oh, wait a second, this is not a continuation shot," right?
Yeah. But you adjust really quickly, and that's what's
you adjust really quickly. Yeah,
and that's why he made such a contrast in the visuals. So right away, wait a second, we're in a kind of a different place in a different time.
Right. Odo's wearing a completely different outfit. He doesn't have his, his Starfleet or whatever uniform on, the traditional one he wears throughout the show. He's kind of wearing this more relaxed garb. He looks like more of a civilian in the old flashback scenes. Yep. But he still retains the things that make him Odo, which is that no nonsense. I'm only here for the facts. I'm straight as an arrow. I don't care about your business, your personal business. I'm just here to get, accomplish my mission, accomplish my goal.
Yeah, he's just there to do his Cardassian neck tricks and move on, right?
Right. So, and I thought that was pretty good. I really liked the background that they had on this show. I thought it was really well done as far as tying the past into the present and also revealing a lot of elements about the origins of Nana, right? And how we kind of first see her pop up on the scene. Kira's character, coming on with the long red hair, and we see the beginning of her kind of her defiant self, where she comes, or the rebel inside of her. Mm-hmm. We get to see the origins of that. So I thought the episode really touched upon a lot of good elements. Really well played out.
And this was another one, and we're just going to keep mentioning Aron because that's probably just what we're going to be doing forever. But this was another one of those episodes where Aron would have loved seeing it, because one of the things he was always talking about was Renee's portrayal of Odo, and how he and Armin came in immediately with the fully established character. And part of what was cool about going into the past was we saw Odo as a slightly different character. He was a little shyer. He was a little more meek. He played it a little softer, like where he didn't fully know who he was and what his purpose was yet, like he was starting in episode 1 of Deep Space Nine. He was kind of like just this guy that's like, I don't really know. People kind of make fun of me. I do this neck trick, and so it was really cool that he played it that way, but subtly, of course, I thought.
There was the first mention of the word constable, which was in this episode, which it kind of sticks with him throughout the show. I liked it. I think Kira is the one that mentions it, calls him constable.
That's a good point. And when Rom first said it starts with a C and ends with an O, I was like, is he going to say Constable Odo?
Yeah. No, it's funny because with Rom's character, I saw a lot of things. Number one, I saw him kind of stand up for himself and a little bit to Quark. Mm-hmm. He kind of admitted to him, I break into your place sometimes when you're not around, and I'm capable of picking a lock because I've been picking your locks.
Yeah, and he said it was because Quark wasn't doing a good job of whatever it was. He says he forgets to turn off the
right. It's for the customers, and and he was hiding I was only hiding your money. I was looking for a safe place to put your latinum, so I had to crack your safe and put your money inside of it. So I was doing you a favor, But I thought that was was good because Rom started to stand up for himself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He also mentioned in this episode, Nog made me this little lockpick device, which I thought was cool.
Nice mention there.
A little shout out to Nog, and my son made this for me. And he's really handy with these kinds of things.
Yeah,
I thought that was a good shout out.
We also, speaking of ROM, something I did notice as well was that we're still slowly getting the ROM that we know later on. Remember at first it's like, and then he ends up being like, oh, hello, brother, or whatever like that. And so right now he's in that in-between state where his voice is getting a little lower and slower, but he's not quite there yet. So I've enjoyed watching and listening to, especially the evolution of Rom's voice. And then by the fourth season, he's fully just Rom,
And, to add to that, shout out to Max Credenchik. I think that's how you pronounce his name, right? Credenchik. But shout out to Max because I'm really getting a good taste for the kind of skills that he brought to this series and his character. And one of the things that stood out to me in this episode was how Rom was walking. His actual walk. And he changes. I mean, Max doesn't walk like this in real life. But in this episode, he has this kind of goofy, hunched over, kind of a Hunchback of Notre Dame type of walk.
Like he's kind of slinking. He's
kind of just, and there's like a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3. It's not just a normal stepping walk, right?
Yeah.
It's brother, I didn't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Max Grodenchik just walked in, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. But no, I liked it. And I thought, wow, this guy's he's acting with his body. He's acting with his voice. He's using his face. He's completely giving you the full immersed experience as far as bringing you the Rom character. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. It was outstanding.
Totally agree. That's something that actors like to do when they get into character is sometimes the first thing they'll work on is, what's my walk? Do I have a limp? Do I walk with arrogance? Do I walk, with sadness or like burdensome, And that's a really good point. Like there is definitely a Rom walk, even if people haven't thought of the Rom walk and the way Rom stands. If you told a Star Trek actor and told them, hey, walk like Rom, I bet you 90% of them could do it without even knowing that they knew his walk, just because it's like he created this iconic type of slink, this slouch, this kind of humble and almost a little scared and unsure,
Yeah, absolutely. And it stood out to me. And in this particular episode, I said, wow, this guy's bringing a whole nother walk to the situation. I don't know if this is accurate, but I want to say it was Dustin Hoffman in Midnight Cowboy. I want to say that, but it could be totally off. But as far as I can recall, in preparation for the role, Dustin Hoffman put a piece of something to irritate his foot. So when he took a step, he would have a limp foot, which is what he was supposed to have, this kind of club foot. That's and brilliant. So you put a little pin or a little something there that would actually stub your toe or hurt you. When you press down, you're definitely going to alter your walk, right? So I've heard of actors actually going that far as trying to get a different walk for a character.
Me too. One of my friends, actually our buddy Darth, mentioned to me a long time ago that he goes down to his underwear as far as wearing specific underwear to get him in, the character like. So, let your imagination roam. But if you're wearing really tight ones, it's going to give you a different kind of feel than if you're wearing loose or not at all or something like that. And I've adopted that. I mean, every little bit helps.
Yeah. Keep that to yourself. Let's keep that to yourself.
Too late. It's out there. It came out. I'm like, no, come back.
Where's Aaron? Where's Aaron right now? I need him. I need backup.
This is the one time where I'm like, okay, I don't need to know what Aaron was. He would never let me hear the end of it.
He would not let you.
You're like, wow,
let that go.
wow,
no,
okay, wow. Okay, Ryan. Okay.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Okay, Ryan. Thanks a lot. Now we know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there were other things there was so many things in this episode that there's like, I mean, there's a million little paths, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought it was also funny when Odo kind of reveals to Rom that he was inheriting the bar, right? And
Yes.
he says something like, "Once this place will be yours," and he's like, "But he's not dead yet, right?"
Mm.
Um, and I thought that was cool because he brought up the I don't know, the 159th rule of acquisition. I think I
Oh
wrote it
yeah,
down.
let's check our notes.
Yeah,
139.
139.
Wives
Wives
serve.
serve, brothers inherit,
Exactly.
and I like that.
Hey, let's talk a little bit more about Rom and Odo. We're going to take our break right now. But there was also something about Rom's scream that I wanted to mention, but we'll be
Oh,
right
okay.
back on the seventh rule.